Hello, K1 campers, and welcome to week 5 of English class. I hope everyone's doing well and that you've been keeping up with your videos. So if you watched last week, we were talking about problem and solution. So challenges that a character comes across or things that they have to fix, and then how they're resolving that or they're finding a solution to the problem. So we followed along with the story No More Noisy Nights, and we filled out the chart that you should hopefully still have to refer back to. But we were picking out the individual problems in the story, and it had to do with the ghost, the boogie monster, the pixie, and the piano. And then we learned that the main character solved their problem by kind of becoming friends with these other characters and giving them something to do during the night so that they wouldn't be noisy anymore. So if you still have any questions about problem and solution, you can leave me a question in the comments this week. I can answer that for you, because today we're just going to be moving on to something a little bit more basic before we get into our last week. And it's going to be just reading small stories and identifying different things within the story. So we're going to be reading the story 3 times, and we're going to be practicing different skills that you may have learned about in school, or this may be new to you. So I'm going to do it with you, no stress. We have 2 different stories. The first that we're going to do is called Pam's Vacation. So you should have this in your resource bag, and has a couple questions. You get to draw a picture. And then our next one says Reading Comprehension, and it is about Joey. So I want you to get both of those out from your resource bag, and if you don't have them, follow along with me. I'll be reading it out loud. Along with your passages, I want you to take out 3 crayons. So we have red, blue, and green. If you don't have these, you can just highlight, circle, underline. But if you do, it'll make it a little bit more fun, especially for the picture. So what we're going to start with is, like I said, Pam's Vacation. So everyone just have this one in front of you. We're going to read this one first. So I'll read it out loud, and I want you to follow along with me. All right, Pam's Vacation. Pam is so excited about her next vacation. She will go to the beach with her mom and dad. They will sleep in a tent right on the beach. Pam will walk on the soft sand to look for seashells. She will collect them to make necklaces. Her dad will help her build a sand castle. So if you see up at the top there, it says each time you read, they want you to put a star or color a star. So you can color in your first star. That was our first read. And we may have used this strategy early on. I know 2nd and 3rd grade definitely did, but I had talked about how we read our story one time, then we're going to go and look at our questions before we read it our next time. So our questions down here under number 2, we're going to be coloring the sentences that contain the answer to the question. So no writing, you're just going to be coloring it in. The first question is, what is Pam excited about? So make sure you're looking for that next time we read. Where will Pam sleep? And then why will Pam collect seashells? So we're going to be looking for those things. No coloring yet, though. We're just doing our second read, and then after our last read, we'll color. So second read, I'm going to read it to you again. Pam is so excited about her next vacation. She will go to the beach with her mom and dad. They will sleep in a tent right on the beach. Pam will walk on the soft sand to look for seashells. She will collect them to make necklaces. Her dad will help her build a sand castle. So you may have heard some of the answers in there. Again, no coloring. I want you to read it to yourself this last time. So do your best. You don't have to get every word. We'll go through the questions together, but I'm going to give you about a minute to read that to yourself while I read it to myself. Okay, if you're not done reading, you can pause the video right now. But if you are done, we're going to start doing our questions. So again, we're going to be coloring the sentence that answers the question. Since there's no lines to write, we're only coloring. First question, what is Pam excited about? So I go back to read my passage. First sentence says, Pam is so excited about her next vacation. And if you haven't done so yet, you can color in your other stars for our other two reads. Forgot to do that earlier. So right in that first sentence, we're already seeing one of our answers. And that question is telling us to color the answer in red. So all I'm going to do is just lightly, doesn't have to be super dark, just like I'm doing here, you're going to color red. And if you don't have crayons, again, you can underline or circle, but you're going to be coloring over that sentence. Pam is so excited about her next vacation. Okay. So number 2, or question 2, where will Pam sleep? Okay, so our next sentence says, she will go to the beach with her mom and dad. They will sleep in a tent right on the beach. So there's my answer. They will sleep in a tent right on the beach. I'm going to color that sentence in blue. Just like I'm doing right here. You can do the same on your paper. Color the words. Okay. And third question, why will Pam collect seashells? And we're coloring this one in green. Okay, they will sleep in a tent right on the beach. Pam will walk on the soft sand to look for seashells. So we see that she's looking for seashells. We still don't know why. And then next sentence, she will collect them to make necklaces. So there's our answer. She will collect them to make necklaces. And again, you're just coloring like I am right here in green, underlining if you don't have crayons. Okay, so this is what you should have so far. You should have all of your stars. We read it 3 times. And you have your 3 sentences colored in the colors that it asks you to do at the bottom. So once you have that done, you can move on to the bottom box, which says, draw a picture that matches the text. And this may seem like a simple part of the worksheet, but drawing the picture is testing your ability, or the teacher is trying to see how well you understood the story. So you have to go back and look at what it was about. And you could even pick one sentence out of there that you want to draw. Like I think what I'm going to go with is they're sleeping in a tent on the beach. So you can draw the tent on the beach. That explains that you understood the story. You could draw seashells, a sandcastle. So I want you to pick one or a few of those things and you can draw your picture. We'll take a few minutes to do that. And you can use your crayons, or I'm just using the colors I have. Anything you have is fine. Even small details, like we know that Pam is a girl. We can see that in the picture. So you can draw her with hair. You can draw her like she is in the picture above. We know her mom is there. And then her dad is there as well. So my picture isn't very good, but gets the idea of the story across, that Her mom's there, her dad. They have their tent on the beach. That would be the sand, and then the waves are right here. So if you want to continue working on that, you can do that. You can pause here. You can come back to it later. We're going to move to our second one. So this one may be a little bit more challenging. There's a few more questions, but it's just a review for you and seeing how well you can go back in the story and figure out what happened and answer some questions. So this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do 3 reads. First one together, then we're going to look at our questions. So this one is called Joey. Joey's favorite season is fall. He likes fall because the leaves change colors. Every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch with his family. His favorite fall treat is pumpkin pie. Okay. So I want you to take a look at the questions now, and I want you to try to read them to yourself. I'm not going to do it with you this time. So we have 2 actual questions and then 3 things we're coloring. Okay, and then at the bottom here, if you see these numbers, this is like the stars, so you can color in number 1. We did our first read already. Okay, so now that you've looked at the questions, we're going to go back to another read before we read to answer them. Joey's favorite season is fall. He likes fall because the leaves change colors. Every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch with his family. His favorite fall treat is pumpkin pie. Okay, so you can color in your 2 at the bottom there. Right here. And now we're going to do our last read before we answer our questions. Joey's favorite season is fall. He likes fall because the leaves change colors. Every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch with his family. His favorite fall treat is pumpkin pie. So we're going to answer these, and then the last few I want you to take a look at by yourself before we do them together. So go ahead and I want you to try to answer them, and then we'll go over a few. So I'll do that while you are. And we definitely talked about this before. If you're unsure about an answer, a trick that you can use is look at the words in the question and try to find those exact words in the story. That's going to help you figure out where your answer may be. So I'll give you another minute there, and then we'll go over a few of the questions. Remember, for the questions on the bottom, you're using your crayons and coloring the answer. Okay. Number 1, what is Joey's favorite season? For that one, you should have put fall, and we learned that in the first sentence. So I went back and I looked for the words Joey's favorite season. I see those right in the first sentence there. Number 2, why does he like that season? So this one's a little bit trickier because we learn in the first sentence his favorite season is fall. So the rest of the story is just details about why he likes fall. So you really had to use the trick here of looking at the words in the question and then going back and finding them in the story. So we see in the second sentence, he likes fall because the leaves change colors. And so that your answer was the leaves change. You could have thought that it was pumpkins grow because we know he likes going to the pumpkin patch, but we don't hear those words in the story. We do see that he likes fall because the leaves change. So that's the answer that you would go with for that one. And then last one we're going to do together is where it has the blue crayon. It says color where Joey goes every year. So we go back, we read our story. Joey's favorite season is fall. He likes fall because the leaves change colors. Every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch with his family. So there we got word for word what he does. So every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch is what you should have colored in blue. Every year, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch. And we are going to do a little bit of a review, but for your poll question today that I want you to answer in the comments, you're going to be answering the last two questions. So what I want you to do first before you answer them is go back in your story and color in red who he goes with to the pumpkin patch and color in green Joey's favorite treat. Once you do that, you're answering in your poll question those two answers. So for example, you would say, Joey goes to the pumpkin patch with, and then give me your answer. And then for the second question, you say Joey's favorite fall treat is. So 2 questions I want you to answer there. And then just as a review, what we talked about today was in this story, how we can go back and look for the words in the story to help us find our answer. And then ways that we can make a picture connect to what the story is about in our questions. So the picture is a very important part here too. And then in Joey, we also worked on going back and finding the words in the story and just looking for the exact answer. And if there's any unknown words that you came across in the story, figuring out how to identify those is something else that's important, using what's in the story to help you figure out the words. So if you had any questions on anything today, you can leave those in the comments. Again, the poll question I have for you is to answer the last 2 questions. So right here, those red and green questions, you're going to be answering for me in the comments. All right, so I hope everyone enjoyed our stories this week and have a great rest of your week. I'll see you next week for week 6. Bye.